So in today's class, we will be looking at the rotation about the origin. So I did post a video about rotation and what it is, the fundamentals and everything. So please check that video out to get a very basic understanding for what rotation is. But if you have seen that or you know what rotation is, now let's look at how we can find the value of a certain coordinate after it has been rotated. So first, there are three ways that I've seen that you can do in order to find the rotation of a point. So the first one is using the angle and trigonometry. The other one is a basic formula that you can just like plug in numbers, and the third one is based on the angle. So I did talk about the one about the angles and trigonometry in my last video, but I just want to just reiterate it again. So for example, if we're given a coordinate like 2, 4 and also 30 degrees, 0, 3 and 30 degrees, then we can actually find the rotation or the rotated image of this point. Let this be P, and then P prime will be unknown. So for this case, there are some restrictions, obviously. So for this, the points need to be either on the x-axis or the y-axis. Or these are the cases that I've seen in which this way was used. So the first thing that we're going to do is just draw the coordinate plane. And then the next thing that we need to do is just find our point, 0, 3. Let's just do it 3, 0, guys. Just for easier interpretation, but it doesn't really change that much. I just want you guys to understand the basics, and after you understand the basics, you can just do the questions by yourself. So after we do this, all we need to do is just find the point. This is 3, 0. So, and this point is then rotated 30 degrees. So let 30 degrees look something like this. So as you can see, after this has been rotated, it doesn't really form a straight line with the point. So let me draw this out with a broken line. That actually makes a curved line that is not really straight. It doesn't make a 90 degree. So the next thing that we're gonna do is just draw a line from P prime A comma B to the x-axis. So we have this point. So here the vertical change is gonna be B and the horizontal change is gonna be A. So when you add everything up, you just get this point. So as you can see, it did make a 90 degree over here, and then this 3, 0 is gonna be the same throughout the rotation. It doesn't really change. So you can just take it as a radius. So this is 3. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is just remember the trigonometry values. So katoa, but in this case we just need sine and cosine. So first let's do the value of B. So B is obviously vertical, so in vertical axis we use sine, right? So B over 3 will be sine theta. So sine theta, or sine of 30, is obviously 1 over 2. So 1 over 2 equals B over 3 crisscross, and then 2B is equal to 3, and then over 2 over 2, B will be 3 over 2. Now we need to do the A version. So cos theta is equal to A over 3. So cos of 30 is root 3 over 2, which equals to A over 3 crisscross, and then 3 root 3 is equal to over 2 is a, I think so. Wait, yep, we're right. So 3 root 3 over 2 is 8. So the answer will be p prime is equal to the cos first, which is 3 root 3 over 2 comma, and then the sine, which is 3 over 2. So this is one of the ways we can do when you're using a point that is on the x or y axis, and also when we're given a number. So the next thing that we're going to look at is the basic formula. I really don't want to explain the proof, but this is just the formula, the final formula, okay? So for p with the points x comma y, when it's rotated around a certain angle, will be p prime x prime y prime, okay? So when we rotate everything, what we get is so to find x prime, it will be x cos theta minus x sine theta. For y prime, it will be x sine theta plus y sine cos theta. So this is y as well. So this is going to be our formula. And this is what we're going to use just to find the numbers. So let's use the same example, or just a new one, 2 comma 1. And then our angle is going to be 60 degrees. So first let's find x prime. X prime will be 2 times cos 60 is 1 over 2 minus y is 1 times sine theta. Sine of 60 is root 3 over 2, which will be equal to 1 minus root 3 over 2. So y prime will be, let's plug everything in, and then x is twice of root 3 over 2 sine of 60 plus 1 times cos of 60 is 1 over 2, and then it's going to be twice of root 3 over 2 plus 1 over 2. And then we're just going to take 2 as a common, so 2 root 3 plus 1 over 2. And then that's just going to be our answer. So p prime will be 1 minus root 3 over 2, comma 2 root 3 plus 1 over 2. So the next thing is based on the angle. So this also has its own limitations. So for example, if we're given pi over 2 or 90 degrees, then our values are going to be for x comma y, it's either going to be minus y comma x or y minus comma x. Y comma minus x. Okay, so this is the case if it is counterclockwise or if the angle is positive, and then this is true for clockwise if the angle is negative. So don't forget this. So even if you're given the angle and also the coordinates, you don't need to do all this calculation to find the rotation, okay? So the next one is just when it's pi or 180 degrees. So in this case, it's the same for both counterclockwise and clockwise. So x comma y, xy will be turned into negative x, negative y. Nothing really changes. So yeah. So for another angle that is very specific, 3 pi over 2, which is 270 degrees, this is just going to be opposite of the 90 degrees. So if it is counterclockwise, it would be y comma negative x when it's counterclockwise. If it's clockwise, then it will be negative y comma x. So yeah, these are the three ways that we can find the image of a point when it's rotated about an origin. So yeah guys, this is the end of the video. I don't think I need to do questions that much. It's just pretty simple. You just need to apply it. It's just theory pretty much. So yeah, the next video I will be talking about rotation about a point, a comma b. So when we rotate it around any common points, it's actually very simple. And yeah, we're gonna be building upon this knowledge that we talked about in this video. So yeah,